I like your pants.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you guys introduce yourselves? Where you from?
My name is Bashiri Asad, and I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
What's your genre of music?
I do independent soul music. I'm a singer-songwriter. And the lady sitting to my right and your left is Bashiri Asad, to my wife, and she sings background for me. And the brother sitting to my left, your right, his name is Joe Harrison. He's a friend of mine, and he also plays guitar for me. And he's also the executive producer of my latest project, Proximity, which just came out March 22nd on Bandcamp.
Are these the only other members of your band, or do you have a larger ensemble?
For the performance today, we're doing an unplugged acoustic performance today. I have a percussionist named Brevin that's going to be playing for me, who was referred to me by a colleague of mine named Shauna Tucker, who's from that area. So he came highly recommended. I can't wait to work with him today.
Brevin's from here, right?
Yeah. Oh, you like, oh yeah, that's right.
What part does Indianapolis play in your music?
It's everything. You can only speak about what you experience. Well, to keep it genuine, you can only speak about what you experience and what you see every day. Some of the things that we have going against us, being from Indianapolis, is one, it's Indianapolis, and two, you guys don't know anything about Indianapolis but Babyface, which is just cool.
And the Colts.
And the Colts. And Reggie Miller, like, you know, Reggie still plays. But you know, the great thing about that is that, you know, we work twice as hard, and we enjoy the process. And just, you know, being a part of the indie soul community is a great thing in itself.
Do you have any influence from Michael Jackson, since he's from Gary, Indiana? Is it like, you know, any connection?
Yeah. Mike is, you know, it's sad. You grow up listening to Michael Jackson, and he becomes a part of the soundtrack to your life, and then he's gone. And then you realize how truly great of an artist and an entertainer Mike is. And you realize, you know, like in my shows, I realize, that's my jam right there too. I don't know what song that was. But you realize, you know, as you do, you know, 2-set shows and 3-set shows, you find yourself doing a cover of Mike. And, you know, it feels good. And you find different ways to flip a cover of Mike. And he literally becomes a part of the foundation of what it is that you do. So yeah, he's a big influence, huge.
Do you play any instruments personally, or you?
No, I don't play instruments. No, not yet. I have a guitar. It's nice. I just haven't had the discipline to sit and play it yet. And then I have to ask this guy to teach me how to play it and everything, and just haven't done that yet.
What music did you grow up listening to?
Man, I'm a classic soul head. I like, you know, anything from the Gamble and Huff camp. I like the Stax, anything from the Stax camp. I'm a Johnny Taylor fan, the Donny Hathaway fan, of course. Of course, Stevie Wonder, Curtis Mayfield, especially being so close to Chicago. Babyface wrote great music, but I like the classic stuff. I like guys who didn't care about leaving it literally on the stage. I really love that.
What does the Art of Cool Festival mean? What does it mean to be here at the Cool Festival?
Tell you a story. I was talking with, the conversation started with my wife. I told her when I saw the festival starting, I said, you know, one day I'm gonna be on this festival. And my project Living the Dream had just come out a little bit after that. And I didn't know anything about how to get on the festival or anything like that. And I started doing searches on venues in the area just to see if I could get me and my band to come and play. And I found out about BU Cafe. And I spoke with, I believe it was Cicely, about it, and we weren't able to make anything happen at the time. Then Reverb Nation comes along and puts something out about performing at Art of Cool. Told my manager, Vanita, that I said, I'll get on this festival and make this happen. And I submitted my stuff, and all of a sudden, I'm riding to a show in Dayton, and I'm like, yo, I'm on the Art of Cool, yo! It's the craziest thing. And, you know, just to be a part of such a great lineup. And, you know, the festival hasn't been around 5 years yet, and they're calling it the Coachella of Jazz. It's fantastic in Durham, North Carolina, and, you know, to have never been here before and be on the same festival as Kamasi Washington and Thundercat, Anderson Pop, and, you know, the internet, who I just became a fan of recently. Donnie, who's one of my favorite singers of all time, period. The list goes on. And to be on that roster, you don't take it for granted at all.
As far as, you know, the article being a new festival, like, you know, it's being called the Coachella of Jazz, and festivals tend to usually attract a younger demographic. What do you think the education, or, you know, just something new, what is it doing for a younger demographic? And, you know, you gain different supporters or more supporters from being on the festival.
That's the goal. That's the goal. And the goal is to, when you get an opportunity like this, to do a festival like this, you want to bring people into your space. You want to bring them into what inspires you and give them a piece of you. You want to educate them on what you do, how you interpret something, how you interpret music in general. And it's not about anything else but the experience for me, and to be a part of this experience and to leave my mark here, so to speak. So I hope to get to do that. It's educational for the younger demographic because they don't know who I am, much less some of the people in this room. So it's an audition for me to get to educate with my form of music. So I hope I get to do that.
If you could listen to 5 albums for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Today, okay. I could listen to Pimp a Butterfly. I could listen to the Epic. I could listen to the Colored Section. I could listen to, I could listen to Infinite Possibilities by Emile LaRue, and I could listen to the I Want You album by Marvin Gaye. Now, see, ask me tomorrow, it'll be 5 different albums. There's so much good music out there.
Take us into the creative process, proximity, the EP you just dropped.
It's funny, it started with me writing a song called Show Me the Way, and it actually became the first single from the EP. I was going to do a full project, but I kind of got disenchanted with doing full albums because people tend to not listen to full albums anymore. And so I said, I'm only doing EPs from here on out. And I put a group of songs together, and Joe and I started working together, doing shows around Indianapolis. And we started talking about putting together a project, and it was just that simple. And I didn't really have a name, and I just started kind of playing with stuff on the internet, and I saw this picture, and it was of a young man and a young woman. Is an older picture, and I saw it, and the name Proximity literally came up, and I wanted to do something I wanted to do a project that had to do with people and love, whether it be physically close or physically far away. Love is always near, and so Proximity just came to mind, and I wanted to do something centered around that. So I started posting pictures on Facebook of people in close proximity to one another. I posted a picture of President and First Lady Obama and Neo Soul Cafe. Yeah. They took the picture, and that was it.
I just kind of like to follow up on that question in a way, just mentioning Obama's. How does politics filter into your music, if at all?
Do your best to stay. I do my best to keep it as separate as I can, because I want to make music that's relatable, but at the same time entertaining. without being too particular or putting my personal political beliefs in my music. It's hard to keep it away, but we're living in interesting times right now, and I don't think that's something that I need to do just yet. Not now, but it's coming.
How would you describe the times?
It's very very delicate times right now. Everyone is very sensitive right now, and we have right to be sensitive right now to a degree, but now is also a great opportunity for understanding, and not so much talking, but listening to each other, and finding common ground, and being okay with being different, being okay with disagreeing. We're not okay with disagreeing yet. We're not okay with being different yet. But I believe, the optimist in me believes that it's coming. We have to listen more instead of talking. That's just my 2 cents.
Have you ever performed at the Shrine in Chicago?
No, I wanted to. I jumped on stage with Kanye Doss once. She was doing a show there. I'd done a show across the street from there, and she was asking if there were any singers in the audience. And a friend of mine was like, "Yep, right here, right here." DJ Funk Natra was the one that actually did that, and she pulled me up on stage. And one of her background singers actually went to Central State with me, and I got up there and I started doing one of my originals with the groove that she was doing, and we ended up going backstage. And she was like, "You're really good. What's your name?" And we talked from there. And I mean, I guess you can call it a performance. I kind of crashed her show.
Yeah, that's good.
Pleasantly crashed.
Is there any body that you want to collaborate in the future?
Everybody. I like to collaborate with anyone that is serious, and I like to collaborate with anyone that's open to the possibility of just making music with me, as long as they're serious and as long as they're open. I'm open to work with anyone. Right now, just starting to get my name out there, so to speak. I like to work with anyone on this festival. I'll say it so everybody out there can hear me. But I mean, it'd be a dream to collaborate with anyone here on this festival, or collaborate with an Eric Roberson, or collaborate with a Fonte, or collaborate with a Kanye Doss, or a Rhapsody, or All Cows Eat Grass, or something like that. I mean, that'd be great. I'm open. There's no ceiling.
Do you ever seek out music you don't like?
Yes.
To see if you could like it?
Yes. It's so funny. Because I'm transparent today. I was not a fan of the internet because I did not listen to them. You know, I just, judging a book by its cover, and I said, you know what, I just need to listen. And I listened to Don't Ya? So go outside of the genre. I did some work in AmeriCorps some years ago, and I instantly became a fan of Coldplay, and been hooked on them ever since. So I mean, if it's interesting to me, if it even piques my curiosity just a little bit,
What about Coldplay appealed to you?
the arrangements, Chris Martin's writing at the time, and timing is everything. That was a year of exploration for me anyway. I was just looking to just unlearn some things and learn something different. And I got hooked on them. I got hooked on Portishead. I got hooked on Beth Gibbons' voice. While I was in Colorado, I went to Smoking Grooves, and I heard Jurassic 5 for the first time. I was hooked on them for a long time. But it was just an open time for me. So it's a good thing.
What are your future plans for the rest of the year?
More music. I was talking with Joe and Vanita, and if you guys don't know the lady back there, the glasses on, her name is Vanita Thompson. That's my manager and friend. My plans are to do a complete album. Proximity was just an EP, and it's part of a full album. Joe and I have been talking about, and we've been working on completing the album. We don't really have a title for it yet. I have a title, but I'm not in love with it yet. And then I'm also looking to do an unplugged show that I want to release as a project later this year as well. I may not release it, but I'll finish it this year. But I may not release that yet. But it'll be like an acoustic ensemble unplugged show. So that's another thing I'm looking to.
How do you guys communicate when you're on stage together? Like, how does that work? Is it visual cues or?
As best we can. You know. Other times, you know, if I mess up on something or there's a mistake made or we miss out on something, we just kind of chuckle about it on stage, you know. But when we're with the full band, I tend to do my best to not look behind me. You have to kind of trust the guys that are behind you, trust them to be the professionals that they are. And I've been playing with these guys for a few years now. So I'm hoping to get them out here so you guys can hear the band and hear us do our thing.
And is there anything particular since you guys are married? How does that work?
Well, when a man loves a woman, there's a bird and there's a bee. No, that's what. Got it. It's interesting, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong. She, her first gig with me, her first show with me, was at a place called the Music Mill in Indianapolis some years ago, and you know, it was in front of 600 people, and she had never, you know, done anything like that before. And I think she was big right there. The stage, it does that to you. And you know, I don't treat her like my wife on stage. You know, we're working together. We want to bring the experience to people, and that's it. I mean, it's just kind of something you leave on stage. You know, and I don't look at her sing the song or nothing like that. No.
Sing the song,
Yeah,
Right.
you know, none of that. I actually do my best to not look at her, because if I look at her, then I'll forget where I'm at. You know. And, yeah.
My favorite Bashiri Asad song
Come on
is
now.
Monster.
Cy Smith?
Love it, Monster.
Cy Smith.
Not Cy Smith.
I'm like, she here?
No.
Right, I'm like, you see how I looked at him, I'm like,
Push. Rome Smith. Push.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, with Monster, will you be creating any songs like that in the future? I think that it speaks to the times, it speaks to the day, and it educates. Will you still be in creative mode like that?
Oh, absolutely. I worked in juvenile probation when I wrote the song, and I met a gentleman while he was in isolation, and he was getting ready to be shipped off to some military facility, and he told me he was going to be a career criminal. He's like, I know what I am, and he's like, you know, my mother's locked up, my father's locked up, my grandmother had me locked up for a TV that's still sitting in her living room, and he told me who he was at that time, and I mean, after meeting him, I wrote the chorus of the song. Like I sat back down. We were in training. I sat back down and I just wrote the chorus. And I think as artists, we have to, as much as we, as unpopular as it is at times, we have to do that. It's an obligation as an artist to kind of be the soundtrack for the times that we live in. And that kind of piggybacks on the political aspect of it. I do my best to keep that away, but there are certain things you just can't ignore. With that song, simply put, we create the monsters that we're afraid of. And
So if you guys haven't listened to that,
I'm gonna do it tonight too. So you know, I know y'all going to the bigger shows.
It's a dope song.
Come to our show tonight. I'll do an acoustic version of the song tonight. But yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, very personal song. I'm glad you asked me about that. Yeah, girl.
I got you.
Yeah. Any questions from the gentleman over here? Your Dwayne Wayne glasses are on point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess one question I would ask, you kind of already said right now. I said, what, for someone who hasn't been listening before, what would be a good place to start off with your catalog, with your music? I know she gave me a song to look out for now, so.
Which one? Oh yeah, on my Bandcamp page. I mean, I would say, you could start from the beginning. My first project, I Am One, is on there. But you know, as independent artists, we listen to our projects and say, you know what, if I had a chance to remake a song, I think I'm gonna remake this song. So I started slowly but surely remaking some of the songs from my first project, putting them on some of my Gil Sweet. And Brian Jackson commented on it, and you know, he let me know he listened to it, and he let me know that he loved it. He enjoyed the fact that I didn't pick easy songs, and I was a little nervous. I thought he was going to tell me he hated it, you know, because he could tell me that, you know, and I just had to kind of take it. But you know, he loved it, and that's a good project to listen to. I'm going to say all of them, man. I'll not be biased. I'll be biased.
Where's the next stop? Sorry.
No, she's sitting there. We were making eye contact. The next stop for me, Joe and I have a private event we're doing in Nashville, and before that, we're checking out Snarky Puppy next Friday.
Yes, sir.
At the Vogue. After that, I have a show in Detroit. I have a 2-day run in Detroit at GS Jazz and Soul that I would like people to come out to. And I'm working on Detroit because it's so close to where I am. So I'll be there on May 27th and 28th, Memorial Day weekend. The band and I'll be there. And after that, we'll be in Dayton, Ohio. And we'll go where I'll go where I'm desired to go. But,
Trying to bring you to Charlotte.
I'm just saying, that's the next move. If you're not hip to this man right there, DJ Foundation. I've been chomping at the bit with him, and he's been chomping at the bit with me. And you know, I would love to come back out here to North Carolina and do some stuff out here as well. It just makes sense. I have to be here.
Are you still working with Enos, Savad, and all of those?
Fortunately, no. That's Sound Thought Recordings. They did great work there. My time with them ended in April of last year. So I'm no longer working with them, which is a good thing. And I say that because, you know, growth is everything, and it's just time to move on to something else.